So we're live.
We are
So,
live.
hello, everyone, and today is Monday, October the 26th. My name is Max Anjanetta Jones of Coach Talks and Life Coaching Today, and Hustle Mama Productions and Certified Life Coach Institute. Today we have a special guest, but before we get into that, our special guest, I'm going to jump over to my partner Holly, and my partner Holly is my Coach Talks partner and my quantum team partner. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we'll work our way around to the other ladies, and then we'll bring on our special guest. Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much, Max. So, hey guys, my name is Holly Oxted. I am co-founder of Quantum Impact Coaching and also of CoachTalks. And being able to put this all together with Max, I'm really excited for today and our special guest. And he's someone who's really had a humongous transformation in just millions of people's lives. You're really going to get some incredible things today. So stay tuned. If you have notes, come take your notebook out, take notes. It's going to be incredible. I'm really grateful for our other partners that we have here today. So I am going to pass the baton over to our next lady here to introduce themselves and what it is that they do. Was it Brooke?
Yes.
Oh, I think you're on mute, Brooke.
Okay. Oh no, that's a game of Cam Bingo that where we just check the box there. So hi, my name is Brooke Adair Walters, and I am the Chief Operating Officer of Certified Life Coach Institute, and we are excited to be here, excited to talk to our special guest, and we're also excited to be sponsoring Coach Talks this year. So that's pretty awesome. So that's all for me at this time.
Hi, my name is Dr. Stephanie, and I'm the CEO of Hustle Mama Productions. I'm also co-owner of Life Coaching Today and Life Coaching Today magazine, and also one of the premier sponsors for Coach Talks 2020-2021. And I am excited to be here. And
I want to introduce our special guest. And you'll see us ladies looking up and down. It's because we're sharing to our groups, because this for us is, a special occasion. We're bringing Jack to you on Facebook Live to over 1 million people, counting the groups and everything. And we want you to enjoy, but we want you to also to drop your questions for Jack. We're living in a different time where we're virtual. We're promoting Coach Talks. So, and Jack is going to be with us in November at Coach Talks. So please look in the feed and you'll have the information for Coach Talks. Remember, when you share the video, we will come back through the four of us and give you some special gifts. Yay! So when you see us looking down, we are still engaged. Please mark shared when you have shared. After this interview, we'll come back through and we will be handing out some really special gifts. So without any delay, we're going to bring on our guest, Jack Canfield. Yay!
Hi, everybody. Hello.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to take the stab at the first question, of course. During this time of COVID, how have you been keeping yourself up and motivated? And what are your thoughts basically on everything? Because this is something different, this whole virtual pandemic, staying motivated, staying spirits and energies high. How are you dealing with that?
Well, like everybody, on March 16th, we had to shut down. I was literally running a workshop when the police came in and said, "You have too many people in this room. You have to leave now." And that was weird. It's like I didn't really. We actually moved to another house and completed the workshop with about 30 people. But that was like the beginning of everything, having to move to virtual. And so literally we had about $480,000 worth of deposits for live trainings we were going to do. And we had to convince all those people to convert to a online program. It was not easy. I think we got about 90% conversion to do that. But what I've been talking about, Max, is that we now are talking about the new better rather than the new normal. The idea that it's actually better. Like we're able to do 400 or 500 people in a seminar now from 47 countries. Whereas before we were doing, 100 to 300 people live in LA where people weren't going to fly in from South Africa and from India and so forth. So we're reaching actually more people than we've ever reached. And how I stay motivated is I just have daily disciplines I do, which is I meditate, I do my gratitude journal, I visualize, I do my affirmations, I exercise, I eat really healthy. I have a wonderful wife. I've basically forgiven everyone in my life. I have big goals, which I visualize and affirm, as I said, and that keeps me motivated to do the work. And I think too, getting feedback from people that say you changed my life. I've got out of an abusive relationship. I started a magazine. I'm coaching people. I wrote my book. That's what keeps me motivated. I'm 76 and I don't plan to retire anytime soon. I'm having a good time.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So I'm going to switch to Stephanie. Stephanie, your question?
Oh, my first question. Hello, Jack. It's a
Hi,
pleasure.
Stephanie.
My question is this: as we are in a time of a complete cosmic shift with the slowing down of our entire planet and many economies and global market, in your opinion, what is the best way to help others, lay members and communities, help them cope with creating this new normal? And how can we assist as coaches with ushering in these new ideologies?
Well, I think, everything we've been teaching all along is still relevant. You have to be 100% responsible. You have to respond to the changing conditions. The only thing that never changes is change. It's always happening to us. We got a huge time out. Mother Nature said, go to your room and think about it. What you've been doing to the environment and to, the oceans and, all that stuff we've been doing. And I think also, Black Lives Matter, I don't think would have gotten as much attention if we all weren't home watching our screens and so forth. So a lot of good things are happening, even though they're painful. A lot of stuff is being brought to the surface for us to look at. And I think we're doing that as a culture and as a world. I think as coaches, our job, both individually and in groups, and also anything we might write or put out on social media, is to share the principles of success, the principles of universal laws that apply to everybody that none of us learned in school. We didn't get taught this stuff in school or high school or college or anywhere. And so people have to learn this from people like us now. And I think that the big challenge for coaches always is, how do I find clients? And I think one of the ways is to offer some free sessions so that people can test drive you, whether it's a group thing where you're going to do a group coaching where you maybe coach individuals in front of a group context. One of the things I found recently that's been very successful for our people that we train is to call up people in your life that benefited you, that were nurtured you at some time in your life, encouraged you, supported you, and say, I just learned a new skill. I'm now a certified coach. I would love to offer you a gift as thank you. And the thank you gift is to teach them a coaching session. And then at the end say, was that valuable? And they almost always say yes. And you say, would you like to do that again? And so then you can basically build your client base that way. But the main thing is to be out there, is to not hold back. It's as if we have a cure for cancer and we're afraid to share it because someone might judge us or say no. And that's ridiculous. We have to be very courageous at a time. People need what we have. The biggest, if you look at the news, everyone says the next pandemic is mental health. So many people now are depressed. We see more violence in relationships. Alcohol and drug abuse has gone up during the pandemic. Kids at home who should be in school who are not getting their social emotional needs met. So there's a huge need for coaching.
Yes, and okay, and I'm glad you mentioned those things such as Black Lives Matter and mental health issues. And a lot of things are going on in minority communities and urban communities across America. I'm actually outside of the city of Philadelphia, where the statistic as of just yesterday was there have been more murders this year alone than have collectively been in the past 14 years.
Wow.
That's a huge statistic. So sure. As coaches, as therapists, as hypnotherapists, as people who are practitioners of the laws of the universe and of attraction and love, what would you say as far as the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as the heightened sensitivity of a lot of minorities who are dealing with mental health issues in urban communities. What can we do as practitioners to help our communities? And what can we do that goes beyond the coaching, so to speak, to be socially conscious for our neighbor?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me say that my experience in the Black community, and I taught in a Black school for 2 years in Chicago. When I was running seminars in St. Louis, we put on free trainings for African Americans that lived in St. Louis. So I've been involved with that, worked for Job Corps Center for a couple of years, which was primarily Black, Hispanic, and Rosebud Sioux, which was in Davenport, Iowa. So the reality is that what I found, and I don't think it's changed that much, is that mental health is often looked down on as you're weak if you have a coach, you're weak if you go to a workshop, you're weak if you have a therapist. And so that we have to change that perspective. We have to change that belief. And that's going to take some time, but it takes education. It takes the message over and over and over and over. You know, as much as I don't like Donald Trump, what he's proven to us is that if you say the same thing over and over and over and over long enough, some people start to believe it. So I think we have to keep putting that message out there. The second thing is I think we have to be involved in giving some free work to people who normally can't afford it because of their income levels, because of the unemployment that's now, you know, facing more difficult, obviously in the inner city and in the urban areas and so forth. And I think most of our first responders and what they call essential workers tend to be women and tend to be people of color. And so I think we have to offer things to them as well. We see a lot of high suicide rate going up within those communities, police, first responders, doctors, nurses, and so forth, and just burnout. And so that's important. And then we have to be activists. You know, we have to be out there, whether it's on the streets, which is going to get unlikely as it gets colder, but we have to be voting everybody. We have to be educating people, and we have to be involved in, you know, I've given away a lot of money this last year to Black Lives Matter movements and different things that are associated with that, to the election, to nonprofits and so forth. I think we have to put our money where our mouth is and put our time. You know, I think we as coaches have leadership skills that nonprofit organizations can use, and we need to show up and be active in those organizations as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
So now I'm going to jump to Brooke.
Hello. Hi, Jack. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I want to say that being that Certified Life Coach Institute is, I understand the switch to virtual as you and convincing folks to go virtual. Oh no. So I understand through that, but I also understand the benefit, which is amazing. And getting to have students from all over the world is it's just a very cool thing. So I wanted to ask you, because of who our audience is, which is coaches and people who want to be coaches, you being who you are, what is the one thing you wish somebody had told you when you were starting out in this world?
Oh, wow. Don't be afraid of women, for starters. I was very shy as a girl, as a boy. I wanted to date, and I would never ask anyone out. But more seriously, I think write a book. I think that one of the things that coaches need to do to develop their credibility is to have things in print that people can see. So you want to be online with social media. You want to be on YouTube. You want to be on Instagram. You want to have Facebook page with live. You want to be on LinkedIn. All that social media is critical. It creates reality around you so people can search you, find you, and know what your ideas are. But there's something about having a book, whether it's an ebook or whether it's a book that they can buy on Amazon.com. It establishes credibility. And the biggest problem most people have is they go, well, I don't have anything new to say. You know, Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Lisa Nichols, they said it all already. Not true. First of all, you have your experience with those principles, your story of overcoming your obstacles, your story of overcoming your limiting beliefs that are important for people to know. And you can put that into print, and it gives you credibility. You can hold your book up. Like when I reach over here and hold up the success principles, that gives me a certain kind of gravitas that you don't have if you don't have that. And it doesn't have to be a thick book. It can be a thin book. This is a book a friend of mine wrote. It's about essential oils. Notice how thin it is. I have to get it the right place in the screen. There you go. But it lets me know that this is a person who knows something about something. So I would say that's another thing I would do. And then the third thing I would say is overcome your fear of asking, you know, your fear of enrollment, your fear of rejection. I always tell people that rejection is a myth, that if you don't ask, you don't have. And so you already have a no. And if you ask and you get a no, it didn't get worse. And so basically life is a numbers game, if you will. The law of probabilities we talk about, the more people you ask, the more likely you're going to get a yes. The more coaching sessions you do, the more likely you're going to have a breakthrough. The more interviews you do, the more likely someone will hear it and become, a major student of yours. So the idea is just, ask, and study enrollment, study sales, study online marketing. These are things that don't come natural to a lot of people. Many coaches are very sensitive. This is why we love coaching. We're empaths, but that's at the same time, there's a sense of like, you don't want to be overly aggressive, overly assertive. It's kind of scary to go out there and be that vulnerable and aggressive and assertive in the world. But that's what's required to be successful in this work.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have a quick follow-up question.
Sure.
With regard to publishing a book or writing a book. I know there's a lot of people that have, especially even amongst our students, but there's a lot of questions. Well, what do I do once I've written it? Where do I go from there? And do you have any suggestions with how to publish or where to take it?
Well, I would say in today's world, getting a major publisher is very, very difficult. There's 600,000 books a year published in America. Only about 600 of those will make the New York Times list, and many of those will never find a traditional publisher. And so if you've written a book that's got some radically new ideas in it, or you have a platform, like, if Barack Obama writes a book, he has a platform. Everyone knows who the hell he is. That's why Michelle Obama was so successful with her book. I mean, she filled stadiums. We called them book signings, but they were really gatherings, in major arenas. But if you don't have a platform, you have to build that up over time. That's like when you say, Max, you have 1 million people on Facebook, that's a platform. So if you write a book, you can tell 1 million people that you have it. And if you're going to a traditional publisher, they're looking for your platform. How are you going to market this book? What is your marketing plan? And if you don't have one, they're probably not going to publish your book, because your marketing plan is basically a business proposal. Just like you go to the bank, you're going to borrow money. They want to know, how are you going to pay me back? The publisher wants to know, how are you going to earn me $20,000, which is what it's going to cost to publish your book. And I can only publish so many books a year. And so I would say in today's world, self-publishing is probably a better way to go. And with Amazon, you can do a Kindle book, you can do an ebook, whatever. I would say that's the way to do it. And then you can just go online. There's what they call Amazon book selling strategies, things like that, where you give away a free hour of coaching, maybe to the first 20 people who buy the book. Or if you know it's going to be 1,000 people, put them in a pool, and you're going to pull 20 people out. And over the course of 3 months, you do a couple sessions a week. But now you've sold all those books, which gets you up to the list, which establishes you as an expert. Then you can say, I'm an Amazon bestseller. So there's a lot of things to do. There's also a book by Kramer, John Kramer, Kremer, called 1,001 Ways to Market Your Book. And that's a real valuable resource I think everyone that writes a book should have.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So,
I appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Leading into that, I'm going to transfer you over to Holly. Holly is our woman that connects coaches to clients. That is what her and her husband do. They bring coaches and clients together. And you're right, a lot of coaches are very sensitive. And what they do is they help coaches become unsensitive to actually get into the groups to promote themselves. So, Holly.
Good.
Yes. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. And hey, Jack. So it's actually interesting, some of the questions that I had, smooth lines perfectly into that. So you say like the best thing that people can do is to write a book to establish that authority and be an expert in their industry. So what would you say, like, what do you think it takes to be that author, to be that speaker, to be that coach? Like, I know there's success principles. Like, what would you share of what it's going to take for them to do that?
Well, let me just underline something you said too. You said speaker. And I think one of the things that I would recommend people do if they want to be a good coach and have a big clientele is also be a good speaker, because we will be back in rooms eventually where you can talk to the local chamber of commerce, you can talk to nonprofit groups, you can talk to women's conferences, and you can do that online as well as in person. But to become a dynamic speaker with good stories, good metaphors, good, concepts that you can share, humor, whatever, engage people. Like, I find what makes me unique in my work is that I'm experiential when I give a talk. I give a keynote experience, so I can have people break into pairs, start sentences with the words I can't find time to do this, I can't stand my brother-in-law, I can't exercise, I can't lose 10 pounds, and then have them go back and say, I won't lose 10 pounds. I say, which one do you feel more powerful? And they say, well, when I say won't, I say, great. So you're mesmerizing yourself with language, and we have to change our language to a language of empowerment. Little exercises like that, which are coaching client type things you can do as well, are what engage people at a different way of speaking. And when you speak to, I always say, when you're coaching, most people are coaching one-on-one or one to a small group. But if I go out and speak to 500 people, not only am I impacting 500 people, I've just talked to 500 potential coaching clients. And so you always want to mention in your talk, oh, just the other day I had a coaching client, this came up. Now they know you coach. So you do that in a very, surreptitious way throughout your talk. And then at the end you say, and by the way, I'd like to give away a coaching session today to some lucky person. All you have to do is, send me your email or fill out this thing or give me your business card. And now you have leads. So I think that's a very powerful way to do it as well. But go back to your original question, because I got sidetracked on this.
Yeah, no, that was great. So what do you think it takes to be that author, speaker, coach? Like, it's going to take something for people. So what do you think that is?
I think it takes two things. It takes time and commitment. It takes a commitment that I'm going to commit to constant and never-ending improvement. I'm going to continually be a learner. And I think when you're starting out, when you don't have a lot of clients, take that time. You have to have some client enrollment time that you're engaged in, but also take that time, an hour or two a day, to learn. Go to a TED Talk, go online, go to YouTube, watch other great coaches do their TED Talks, do their YouTube videos. I learned things by watching Tony Robbins, and I've taken one Tony Robbins workshop. I've done some NLP work, but when he talks about his 6 needs for human beings, that's a useful concept, So the more you can learn from people and develop your content, so you have something worth sharing, learn your coaching skills. There's a lot you can learn, everything from EFT and Sedona method and Gestalt therapy and, just a ton of different modalities that you can keep adding to your work. I think that's really important. Law of attraction work, things like that. And then finally, I would say you have to spend time developing that into something deliverable. So if I'm going to do a book, what I recommend people do is just outline everything you know about what would help people. Now, maybe you're in a special niche, which I think is always valuable. You coach parents, or you coach executives, or you coach, new moms, or you coach whatever. So become an expert in that area. And then you want to write a book that speaks to that. With Chicken Soup for the Soul, our best-selling book ever was Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul. Why? Because women know that's for me. I always say if we did Chicken Soup for the Hispanic woman entrepreneur soul who lives in Southern California, everyone who knows they are that would buy the book because it's so specifically targeted. So don't be afraid to target and niche yourself. And you can have more than one niche. I'm a law of attraction guy. I'm a success guy. I work with entrepreneurs. I train trainers. So I have many things I do. I was also a self-esteem expert for many years. So you can be multifaceted, and you can write books in each of those areas to establish that. But for book writing, I think you have to set aside, well, one of my friends calls it bum glue. You got to glue your bum to the chair and type or dictate or write, and do it regularly, like every morning from 7 until 8, or every evening, or every, from 1 till 3 in the afternoon. Find your best time. We all have different creative times when we're at our peak, and find that time and then commit to getting words on paper. I call it vomit copy. Just vomit it out. Don't try to edit it as you write. Come back to it later and then edit it. Give yourself some space. Just get words on paper without judgment. And if you write 5 pages a day, at the end of a year, you'd have 1,500 written pages. So a page a day, you'd have 365 pages. So with dictation we can do now and stuff like that, it's so easy to get words on paper. And then if you're really stuck, you can have an editor help you. There's lots of ways to go. And finally, I would just say this with writing: get at least 10 people to give you feedback after you put it together. Chicken Soup for the Soul was successful because we had 40 people. Every book we ever did, it went out to 40 people, 120 stories. Grade every story on a scale of 1 to 10. Tell us what it would take to make it a 10. We'd come back. We'd then take it down to 101 based on that, and we'd improve it because of that. That's why we were successful. Most books are read by the person who wrote it, their wife or their husband, and maybe one editor. It's not a big enough sample to get feedback about what's really working.
That is great advice, because you always, like you're too close to the project, right? So to have other people go out there and take it. Thank you for all that. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
One last question, because I know we have a certain amount of time. I want Max to get her questions in again, or as well. So I know you are like the success guy, and you've written a whole book on the success principles. So if there is, like, what would one success principle be that stands out to all the other ones that you could share with us? Or is there?
If I were to ask you, you could only keep one organ in your body, which one would you keep? You'd die.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what I teach in the success principles is a system. It's like a combination lock. You need to know all the numbers in the right order. And so if you're missing one number, it doesn't work. And so there's 67 principles in the book. 17 of them are core. And I actually did write a follow-up book. I'll hold it up here. It's called, there you go, the Success Principles Workbook. And that is the 17 core principles you have to have. It's also available on Amazon.com. And it's like a coaching program between the covers of a book with actual exercises. So I would say, you know, if you buy the Success Principles book, the first 25 principles are in there called the Essential Basics, or get the workbook and work through those. But 100% responsibility, life purpose, have a vision, turn your vision into goals, believe it's possible, use affirmations, visualization, and a vision board. Take inspired action, respond to feedback, persevere, don't give up.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Max. Make sure she's got her space too. She's incredible at putting this all together.
Thank you guys. So you've answered most of my questions, especially from the audience. So I'm just going to segue before we disperse. I'm going to segue into one of the reasons that we are together. And I have to say, you know, every time I see your pictures, you have such an awesome smile. I just think it's just really cool, dude. I just love it. So that's number one. I get my shameless thing in, but I had to say it. Number two, we're coming together for Coach Talks. You're going to be with us in November on the 13th. And I want to say to everyone, everything he said is true. You have been really kind in helping me put this together and getting this together, and your team has been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for actually letting me walk into one of my dreams, and sitting here with you today was one of my dreams. So yay!
You're welcome.
Because I know Lisa. I met Lisa a long time ago at Mind Valley, and she had some incredible stories about you. So I'm just very grateful to actually be here sitting with you. So Coach Talks. What direction are you taking this in for Coach Talks, or have you decided yet? Because we're together November 13th.
What I'm going to do, I mentioned this, like life is like success is like a combination lock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share the numbers in that combination. I'm going to talk about those core principles in the order that they need to be activated. I'll actually do an exercise with everyone called setting a breakthrough goal, a goal that would quantum leap you in your life. We'll create an affirmation for that. So we'll be going through these principles, and I'll actually do one or two little experiential things to make it Velcro into your system and walk away with something that you're committed to, and you have the capacity to manifest as we leave that call. And you'll be able to use those same tools and principles with your clients.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, we look forward to seeing you again in November for Coach Talk. So I know that you have to leave us, so we'll let you segue out. We'll let Jeff take you out. And ladies, I'm going to ask you some questions about our guest as he leaves us. So we are live in about 20 or 30 or more groups. Okay. So what I want to say to everyone, sharing. We have some really cool gifts for you guys for sharing this information. We also want to let you know that coming up, not today, but coming up on the horizon is Les Brown, Martha Beck, and some other top names that Holly and my team, Brooke and Stephanie, have put together. So we're going to post links in. If you share and you post it, you shared, we're going to come back through again and give you gifts and surprises and swag bags and so on and so on. So we have stuff for you guys. So share. We'll put the links in for the tickets. And I will say, for sharing, one of the gifts that we're going to say, by sharing, if you share, you get a ticket. You get to bring a friend. So you buy your ticket, you get to bring a friend. That's something, because as Jack said, we have to give. Part of us going live today is to give. Have you ever seen someone as awesome as Jack on Facebook Live? For free. So this is our gift to you. Now we want to go deeper. We're saying for 7 months, because Coach Talks is for 7 months, 7 months, we're going to bring you coaches just like you, new coaches, medium and higher coaches. Um, Chad and Holly will be teaching you guys some things on how to sell. And you have Stephanie that will be teaching you some things. And we have a digital magazine. And if you want to be a coach, if that's something you want to be, please reach out to Brooke. Certified Life Institute is an excellent school, and it's something that you need to check out. So, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from this?
I guess for me, I think having Jack is going to be phenomenal, especially for where we are in our country and even on our planet. Thank goodness Facebook is global and multiple languages. But to actually be able to support the shift that's happening, to support the hiccup that's happening. You know, people are reinventing themselves. People are going into new careers. People are actually pursuing things that have always been their dreams. And so, like you said, if they want to be a coach, a certified professional coach, Brooke is right there on the forefront with the Institute to help answer that call and respond to that need. You know, I'm in publishing, I'm in digital publishing. I run magazines. I've written over 100 books. So I'm in the product space. I'm in the course space, the product space, the publishing, and digital publishing is big right now. You know, there are distribution companies that can connect you with millions of subscribers when you are on point with the content. You know, content is king when it comes to information age and especially social media. And then, like you said, Holly and Chad are sales gurus because what's the point of having the certification and the licensing, having the product and the content and the digital content published, and then you can't even sell it? You know, you can have all the stuff in the world that's wonderful, but if nobody knows it's there and nobody knows it's available to you, or if you can't communicate and close the deal, then all you're stuck with is a warehouse full of stuff with all of your credentials. And so I think that people need to really come to Coach Talks so they can get all of the moving parts to grow their business and to highlight and support and be the light in their business.
I have said the exact same thing so many times. By the way, Dr. Steph, like you can have the greatest product in the world, and if nobody knows about it, what's the point?
You're right. You how to connect, and that's why this, you know, the team, even our team members that you don't see, Holly, Chad and Jeff, you know, and your background, man, Brooke.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my background, yeah. It's what is it?
No, the team. The reason that we decided to do Coach Talk is we wanted to bring coaches to the forefront. Okay. Mm-hmm. One of the things that Jack said that is true, coaches are like, where am I going to get my clients? And that's why I ushered them off to Holly and Chad to say, okay, because if you need to build your life, your self-esteem, you need to be connected to someone to help you write a book. You need to look at your life blueprint. I can help you there. But the moment you say to me, how come you always have clients? Okay, please go to Chad and Holly. Okay. I want to be a life coach. Please go to Brooke. And I will just pencil you into a Facebook and say, here, talk to these people. The same thing with Stephanie. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys are readily there to jump in and help people. Because after hearing Jack say what he said, you guys are doing exactly what he's asking to be done. We're giving away stuff, we're helping stuff, jumping in. But the hardest thing is connecting clients to coaches. And that's what we do at Life Coaching Today, the Coaching Depot, Quantum, Transformational Coaches. It's like, Brooke, you put them out in the world and then you send them to the three of us. Like,
I think too, I mean, taking it one step further, getting clients is absolutely difficult, but it's I think in a bigger picture, it's getting the world to understand what coaching is and the benefits and what it does and how it actually works. And I think there's a lot of misconception out there in that people think it's going to be like therapy or they're going to be told what to do. And that's not at all what coaching is. Coaching is about empowerment, communication, getting the chance to clarify what you want and out of life. And you are the driver. as a client. You, I mean, really are in control of your path, and the coach is there simply to ask questions to open you up to possibility and facilitate a process. And so it's really magical, the empowerment that happens within a coaching space. And I think I think that when I say coaching is for everyone, it's for everyone can use a coach. Everyone can use coach training. Everyone can benefit from what coaches do, and also what learning what coaches do, being coached and coaching, quite honestly. And that's no joke, because it's really about communication and just figuring out what you want out of life, and learning how to listen to others as well. So
I want to say one of the major groups that we're in is Women Helping Women. And I want to say thank you to Christina Rowe and to Sabrina Ray for finding us a space today. Let me say that again. Thank you, Christina Rowe, and thank you, Sabrina Ray, for finding us a space today, because there was no spaces. And when I reached out to them, they both, and we're talking about almost 500,000 women in a group. They both responded right away and said, yes, we're going to help you with your goal. And that just made me cry, because, someone that is doing so many things, immediately they were on it. So I want to say thank you to Christina Rowe for building such a great platform and allowing us to interview Jack Canfield. And Holly and I are standout members, but we will be back with Les Brown and so on and so on. But I just want to say, Holly, because someone is listening to us at YouTube, let me do a shameless plug for all of you. How can people find you instead? I know that we're going to put the information in, and you guys have an amazing challenge going on right now.
We do, yes.
So tell them from your words, not mine, how do you help people? That's the good thing.
Yeah. So what we do is we work with transformation coaches to be able to align with their true self and be able to create a coaching program that is aligned to you. Because if you're not in alignment, it just doesn't work. And then we take that program and move powerfully for you to get out there, show up, get clients. It's so much more than just like we help people make sales and get clients, right? It's a lot deeper experience with what it is that we do. So we go out there and help you have that freedom life that we're all out to live, to be able to have your coaching business how you want it, right? Be able to live the life that you want. Freedom is something different for everybody, as well as make that deep impact. Like all of the training that you get as you're working with Brooke and you're going through these certifications, like we want to make sure that you're taking your certifications and your training and be able to have the deepest impact with what it is that you do, and then go out there and be able to make a large profit for yourself, right? Because when we can make the profit, then we can go out there and make a bigger impact in the world. So we're really about freedom, impact, and profit, so you can have an abundant life that you're here for. So that's ultimately what we do. What you can do to connect with us is we have a Facebook group, Coaches for Transformation, Get More Clients. We actually are starting a content challenge tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're going out there and you're creating not just content, but effective content that's enrolling for new clients and building your audience, and so you can create that impact that you're here for. So thanks for letting me get that plug in, Max. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
There we go.
Oh, am I muted?
No, not anymore.
You're good.
So in between each plug, I'm going to say, please, if you're sharing, please put shared in big, bold letters, because I and Holly and Stephanie and Brooke will come through and we're going to give you something. I always like gifts, okay? Give me, give me, give me. So for all the groups that we're in, write shared. Please share to a group or to your page, and we are going to give you something, because we're going to put this interview on different things, but we're going to go back through if you wrote shared, and if you shared it, we're going to give you some things. And hopefully, Jeff, if you can please put the links in, everybody put your links in, so when people want to purchase tickets, because for 7 months, for a small amount, we're going to bring you some really, really cool people. But we're starting off with Jack, and then Les Brown, then Martha Beck, and Marissa Pierce. We're going to have a month when we have nothing but hypnosis and NLP. We're going to have drummers. We're going to have meditation, all the things that Jack was talking about to keep us in balance and to keep us where we need to be. So next, I'm going to jump to Stephanie. Um, a lot of you have seen me make posts about, do you want to write for me? Do you want to write for my digital magazine? But I want to also extend that out to people who have product to sell, because Stephanie has a digital magazine that has huge, huge outreach all over the world, and you can advertise your business and write for me in my magazine, Life Coaching Today. Oh, I just want to put in that if you are going to have your article in Jack Canfield's month, please make sure you get it in time, because Stephanie's really strict about that. Go ahead.
I'm a type A personality. I tell everyone I'm the creative computer. Okay. So I'm both right and I guess it's the ambidextrous thing. I'm right and left brain, which is like a very dangerous place to be. And yes, my name is Dr. Stephanie. I am the CEO of Hustle Mama Productions. Hustle Mama is an organization that supports women who help unite, share, teach, lead, and empower their families, communities, and the world. They hustle. We translate into 40 languages. Hustle Mama Magazine, the magazine for today's powerhouse woman. And we have collaborative partners in 6 continents, and we are very proud of that. I also am the chief editor of Life Coaching Today magazine, and as Max said, we not only want your content, we want your stories, but we want to profile and highlight and support your business, your practice, your endeavors, all of the initiatives that you are working on in your own geography. We're happy to do that for you, because we each learn from one another. We're both teachers and students, one of another. There's no hierarchy in God's universe as far as we're concerned. So we're here to serve you. How can we serve you? How can we help you in service? How can we help you be of greater service? And how can we support that? And then, of course, if you want to sell your products, your courses, and all the things that you are promoting, we'd be happy to be that vehicle for you. We're in major distribution channels, including on the Maxter Profile platform, which is 70 million subscribers. We get 350,000 hits a month. We get 20,000 unique visitors. That means first-time visitors on average a month. And our numbers are looking really well. We have Hustle Mama Radio, Life Coaching Today. We have a podcast station. We have a television network. And we feed through all of those things just from our magazine. We are the first hyperactive magazine in the US and have been for 8 years. And that means we can play your videos. We can link to your iTunes. We can play your music and your podcast as people have the flipping experience. And no one is doing that still. They have the flip, but they don't have the media. So we're happy about that. And if you want to, you can just reach out. I'm on Facebook. If you put in Hustle Mama or Hustle Mama Tribe or The Hustle Mama, Dr. Stephanie comes up. Hustle Mama in that order, no other order. Okay.
So that's great. So we're getting close, but I want to give Brooke some time to talk about the school real quick. So, and everyone's going to post where they are. You guys are going to see me and Holly again, or Holly and Brooke, or it's always going to be me or Holly and one of these ladies. Because, like I said, for 7 months, Coach Talks will be going on, and you will get to connect with clients, learn from Holly and Chad, advertise with us, right? And if you want to be a coach, you will go see Brooke right away. Certified Life Coach Institute. Brooke, take it home, and then we'll get a word of gratitude, and then we have to go.
Well, thank you guys so much for, one, allowing me to be a part and allowing me to be here. I appreciate that. Thank you, Max. Steph, you and I are the creative math. I mean, like both hands, and I love that we're totally in sync, by the way. So, and Max always said we would be. So it's she's like, you are just like Stephanie. So look at the face that Max is making.
And I'm really in this sense, but you two are just alike.
We can be difficult, though. We can be a handful. She's like, I've been saying that. And I'm just getting to know Holly, but I know we'll get along swimmingly. And I want to say thank you guys very much. But what we do at Certified Life Coach Institute is we certify life coaches in 3 days. And we are award winning. And that's kind of amazing. We were recently just chosen as one of the best or the top 7 choices in life coach certification. And you guys, Life Coaching Today has, of course, awarded us that honor as well. And so I appreciate that. And but really, we can say it's life coach certification, but for being somebody that's sat through these classes tons of times, it's far more than that. And I think Max and Steph can attest to it. It can be life-changing, and it can be something that is, our classes are experiential and interactive, and they are a chance for people to really connect and grow. And that 3 days is an intensive, and we have everybody from, you know, psychologists to doctors to business professionals to people who want to be coaches. All different kinds of people come through and take our course. Why? Because it's beneficial. It just is. It's just good learning, and because you're coach and client in the classes, you get coached throughout the whole weekend, and you can have these awesome breakthroughs and opportunities for growth. And I just, I love what we do. And the fact that it's in 3 days, and we're ICF accredited. So you are getting an ICF accredited education with us. And that's huge, especially when you're looking for a certification. You want to make sure it's from a credentialed institute, and we certainly are. So
that is correct. And it's a good education. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to say again, thank you for Christina Rowe and Sabrina Ray, Women Helping Women, and all the other fabulous groups that I've spoken to. And you're going to see some of those groups at Coach Talks, because my partners and I did a lot of JV work for a lot of the groups so we can be live. Tune in for Chad and Holly today at 5 o'clock, and Holly's going to drop the link in. And I see one of my favorite people, but Holly's trying to hide her. Thank you.
This is our CCO. This is our Chief Cuteness Officer of our company and of Coach Talks, Ms. Charlie. So she has a super messy face. I've been trying to feed her and
I'm like, I see her. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining us today with Jack Canfield. Please join me and Holly and the team in the month of December for Les Brown and a lot of other things. We're going to be interviewing a lot of people, most of the people from The Secret. We have the offer from Stop Doing That Shit and Unfuck Yourself. And there's a lot of really cool things coming up. So we look forward to seeing that. And I'm going to leave with a word of gratitude. I'm going to ask my guests to do it too, and then we're going to be poof, like magic. My word of gratitude today is kindness. It goes a long way. And when kindness isn't being shown to you or to anyone, you need to leave. So kindness for me. Holly, what's your word of gratitude that you'd like to share today?
On the spot. My word of gratitude today is, well, I was going to say compassion, but that's what's coming up for me. So that's what I'm going to just share. So compassion, and that, being who you're a stand for over anything of how you necessarily feel, but what you're actually a stand for in this world, to be a contribution to other people. That's my word.
Stephanie, what's your word?
My word is always going to be honor. Honorable, live honorably, live true to your heart and true to your word.
Brooke, take us home.
Mine will be grateful, which is I know it might be redundant, but honestly, taking the moment just to be grateful and appreciate or mindful of the moment, of the day, of the opportunity of being alive and getting to be around people that are amazing and like-minded, and just to take a moment and appreciate that and say thank you, and let others know that you appreciate them as well. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate you too. So from that is another Coach Talks Quantum Life Coaching Hustle Mama Certified Life Coaching Today moment. Charlie, So with that, we're going to say good night. Again, thank you, Christina Rowe and Sabrina Ray and Jack Canfield. Stay tuned next for Les Brown in December.